man. I do what I do.
Let me say, like, more people will support her than support you and your black butt. And so when she goes to court, even if the judge is, and she's a woman, so when she goes to court, you might have a black man, but he also might be a simp. You might have a white woman, a black woman, but she also might be what? Subject to female own preference. And then on top of that, your woman is white. And they're looking at you like, okay, all the social stigmas and stereotypes that come along with, racism. People don't leave that at the courthouse door. They don't come in there and walk away from their strongly held beliefs. All right, they don't do that. And shout out to my man, lead attorney. That's my dude. Y'all make sure y'all check the page. He talk about law stuff. I don't really talk too much about the law. I just do what an uncle is supposed to do, just talking to y'all about life. But shout out to my man. Y'all check him out. I'm gonna have to go over there and hang out with him sometime. But either way, my whole point is, so if you're dealing with a white woman, you understand that they're gonna believe her word over yours. So be careful. I actually wrote a song about this. It's called Black Kings. They send that white woman into your life, and she steers you somewhere else. As opposed to helping your people and doing for your people, you're steered off to go help her people and do for her. And the money that she makes goes right back, to the system that you extracted it from, especially if you like a ball or something like that. You're a rich guy, you make money like a Michael Jordan. Now you go marry this nice white woman, and now North Carolina, where you came from, they don't get nothing because the money goes back to this woman. He's 50 years old. She like 20 something. Of course she's going to get all this money. You see what I'm saying? And so I'm not saying, but I'm not judging you. I want you to love who you want to love. And maybe the world is changing, and maybe that's just here in the United States. But that's something you need to think about. If life was a game of chess, that white queen comes over and put that black king in check. You can't move. You move here, you get out. Move here, you get killed. Move here. So she's got you in check. So just think about it like that, fam. And again, I'm the furthest thing from a racist. I don't believe, but I do believe in speaking the truth. I love my brothers. I want to see my brothers do well. But you would do wise to analyze these relationships, not from an emotional standpoint, but from what's best for me standpoint. See, the worst thing you can do is say, I'm getting in a relationship, an interracial relationship, because I'm running away from black women. That's not a good answer. What you should do said, I'm looking for a woman who's good for me in my time right now, and who benefits me in this time that I'm in right now. Don't go dating a woman just because of what she looked like. Date her because she's good for you. I personally like traditional women, but I also like women of the African diaspora. And that's why I like Afro-Caribbean or Afro-Latino, whatever, or African, whatever you want to call them. That's good for me because of the traditional values that I want. But I tend to steer away from white women just because I know their social status. And that piggybacks on what Triple Black said. Not only do they handle you, and they know the divorce system very well, there are people there to help them do it, Triple Black. But you go ahead, and then we're going to get to John Smith. What else you got to say, Triple Black?
All I have to say, case in point, and when we look at it from a outside looking in, we look at Dr. Dre's situation, and we're like, this woman really think that she should be entitled to his name. That right there should tell you everything. Didn't make a song, didn't do anything. But that is the sense of entitlement that they carry naturally. A lot of them. Well, that's all I have to say.
It's definitely a control tactic, man, and we can dig into that a little deeper. Maybe I'll go into maybe me and the lead attorney can talk about my thoughts on that, because I actually wrote a book on conflict and how to resolve and figuring out who you're dealing with on the other side. But thanks, Triple Black. John Smith, my man, what's happening? How you doing, brother?
Doing well, Mr. Spurling. How about yourself?
I'm doing all right, man. I want to talk about this article that I pulled up. It says, unmasked, many white women, Southern slave owners. I'm going to see if I can pull this up. Now, look, the thing is, everybody, if you want to change the subject, if y'all want to talk about Quavo, let me know. You can go talk about that right now. If you appreciate what we're talking about, this subject, hit the #1 button. If you think this is interesting, if this is something you've never heard of before, This is, are we talking to you in a way that, wow, this is turning some lights on my mind? Hit the number 1 button. That's how I know you're still there. Okay. Otherwise, you know, maybe I'm boring y'all. I don't want to bore you guys. I want you guys to be interested in these conversations. So hit the number 1 button, and then also hit the like button. To see if you don't hit the like button, that means you don't like it. Okay. So hit the like button and let me know you're here. And also contribute to the Super Chat, the Cash App, and PayPal. John Smith, let's take a look at this. It says, unmasked, many white women were Southern slave owners too. People find it hard to believe that the lovely white women were slave owners. And I mean, like, that just makes sense to me. In her book, they were her property. White women slave owners in America South, Stephanie E. Jones Rogers, a UC Berkeley Associate Professor of History, expands our understanding of American slavery in the 19th century slave market with an investigation into the role of white women in the slave economy. She found they were active participants, profited from it, and were as brutal as men in their management techniques. Okay, so we kind of looked at the video a little bit. You heard what Bill Burr had to say about how we allow them to, how, you know, how did they rolled around in the blood money, and then they managed to put their Gucci booted feet over the gate of oppression and get to the front of the woke line. How did that happen, John Smith? But first, go ahead and say what you got to say, and then answer that question. That's amazing. He said generals all across the world should be studying that technique, and I would have to agree. What are your thoughts? I mean, it even amazes white men how these white people did that. I mean, that's a good game right there. But what are your thoughts on this thing, man?
Well, Dennis, when you first started speaking about the, you know, kind of the power that's attained from, you know, white women gather, you know, that speaks volumes, because it's all about control and control of finance, of, you know, of your body, of your thoughts. And I mean, and that's just the nature of women, but white women have done it in an insidious way. They, you know, many, you know, because I'm from, you know, being from the South, many of black men have been hung just for looking at a white woman.
Yeah.
So, you know, even with that, and you know, we have the Karen complex. That's what they do. They, you know, they dog whistle all the forces that have been created to you know, to oppress us against us. And you know, and you're right. If they got together and wrote a book on how to take over, definitely. I mean, they co-opt everything. That'd be bestseller, because you know, most of these you know, most of these white women, if you look at the types of women, for the most part, that co-opt our great men, or, you know, and I put that in air quotes, are high quality men, such as athletes, business owners, that, you know, you see them flocking to these women while they're in their, you know, in their power. And then as soon as they start to ascend, that's when the divorce and that's when the family breaks up. And I've seen that happen firsthand.
Let's talk about this from an intellectual standpoint. I truly believe that women have ruled the world, and they always will. And now they're just coming to the forefront and letting you know we rule it, because before they would let you think you were in charge, and they would be actually the ones pulling the strings. You know, I've been studying jujitsu, and recently I actually started working on. I've been taking jujitsu with my sons. I sat for many years and just watched my sons from maybe 2005 or 2006 on. I would just sit on the bench and watch. And what I discovered about jujitsu is it is a martial art. It is a mart, and martial means war. It's a war art that teaches you how to win from a submissive position.
Yes.
I think that white women have mastered the art of winning or submitting their bigger, stronger, faster opponents from a submissive position. I think that they are probably the most cunning beings on this planet. You see what I mean? Because they made us all believe, bless their hearts. And I'm not mad at them. This is the game. They made us all believe that there's these sweet, dainty, loving creatures even their own men. You know, their men will go out and conquer the whole world, make enemies out of the whole world for them, and take all the heat and run back and give the riches to their white women. And then those same white women will then go out amongst and free and clear of any wrongdoing, allege how they were victimized by these men.
Yeah.
Who went out. And then here's the crazy thing. In a massive betrayal, these same women will then go out and marry men, have sex with men, have children with men. That are from the races of men that these white men have oppressed, or these white men have stolen from. If I were a white man, I would be pissed at white women right now. I would be, and I think that's why we have this whole MGTOW movement, actually.
Yes, I definitely would agree with you on that. And as you stated about, jujitsu, it's all about taking it, it's all about basically using someone else's leverage against them in a, non-dominant position. Right. And that's what the females have really pressed forward. And we're still operating in a space of, oh, well, you're the, damsel in distress, and we're going to help you out. And and they don't need your help. They don't require your help.
I have another theory, and I'll share it with you. And I'm just dropping this stuff on you guys because, the thing is, I'm a lawyer. I love practicing law. I'm really good at it. But my primary love is science.